All right, we're going to look at the rectangle program, rectangle.java, and we're going to go through what's in that program, what are the parts of the program, and why each one exists. To start with, we are going to have at the top our class name, and we're going to say public class rectangle, and rectangle gets capitalized as the name of the class. And when you save the program, you save it as capital R rectangle.java. The class name and the name that it is saved as have to be the same. The next item of our program are the instance variables. In this case, the instance variables are going to represent the sides of the rectangle. And the reason that we need these is so that we can initialize them in something called a constructor, which I'll talk about next. And then we can use them in any method that we are using in the program. Since each variable has a scope or a lifetime in the program, what we need to do is make sure that the scope of the variable is the entire program, and that is the purpose of an instance variable. So I have declared private double side 1 and private double side 2. The double is the type of data structure that we're using. This means that the number will have a decimal in it. Side 2 is the name of my variable, or side 1. And private means that it only exists inside this program. I can't get to it from the outside of this program. So that is stating that I am going to have these. We are declaring but not initializing. To declare simply says, these are the variables. I have no idea what their values are at this time, but these are the ones I'm going to use. When I get to the constructor, I will initialize or give values to those variables. So my constructor is public rectangle. The name of the constructor is the same as the name of the program. And then it is followed by however many parameters that you need to send in. Since I have 2 instance variables and nothing else really exciting, I only have 2 parameters. They're both doubles, and I called them side 1 and side 2. Then the main purpose of the constructor is to initialize the instance variables. So side 1 from the constructor goes on the right hand side, and this dot side 1, which is my instance variable, is on the left hand side. So from up here, my parameter is on the right and my instance variable is on the left. I have to use this when both the instance variable and the parameter have the same name. You don't have to do that, but it lets you know exactly what's going on. In other words, if I just call this S1 and S2, then what do they mean? So if I call them side 1, side 2, and I'm putting them into side 1 and side 2, that sort of makes sense. This dot means that I am calling the side 1 for the rectangle that is being constructed by the constructor, if that makes sense. In other words, I am sending a number in, and I have to associate it with the actual rectangle. If I didn't use the this, then I wouldn't be associating it with the instance variable, and effectively it would die inside the constructor. And I will demonstrate that later. All right, the next part of the program is a method. A method does something. That's a great description, but I'll hopefully my two examples will help. So these methods are public, which means I can get to them from outside of this actual program. This next word, double, says this is my return type. This is what I'm going to send back to the user after the getArea method is executed. So public says I can get to it or use it from outside the program. This says what kind of value will be returned to the user, and this is the name of the method. The open and close parentheses may or may not have parameters depending on what your method is. In the cases I'm going to show you, we have no parameters sent in. Now, what are we going to do? We are going to, as the name suggests, calculate and return the area. So I'm going to declare a variable called area, and for a rectangle that's going to be side 1 times side 2. And then I'm going to return to the user area. Notice that these are both doubles, and so life is good. My other method, which is again public double, this is getSide1. It doesn't calculate anything, it just sends back to the user the value of side 1. What was the length of side 1? And then in this case, it is getSide2, so it returns the value of side 2. All right, so that shows all of the parts of a program. And what I now have is what I call a runner. All right, this is my public class rectangle runner, and its purpose is to send values to my rectangle program and see what I get back. I put it inside a program that is public static void main, and remember that I can't run a program unless it has a main. When you compile and then press run, the program is going to, or the compiler is going to look for main. So if I come over here, remember I had no main in this. So if I press run, it says this program does not have static void main statement accepting string. Okay, so I can't run this by itself. I need a program that has a main that can send values in. So if I say that side 1 is going to be 2.0 and side 2 is 3.0, then to construct a rectangle, I say that I am going to construct a rectangle. Its name is R1. It is going to be a new rectangle, and I'm going to pass in the values for side 1, which is 2.0, and side 2, which is 3.0. I'm then going to call the R1, and I'm calling this R1A because this is the name of my variable, and it's going to be R1.getArea, and then I'm going to print that out. So if I compile this and run it, it says the area is 6.0, which is no big surprise because 2 times 3 is 6. Now let's go back and look at the constructor where I use the this construction. Let's take this out. Save it. Compile it. Go back to the runner and run this. And notice my area is 0. The area is 0 because at this point when I declare variables of the type double, these are primitive data types, when they are declared but not initialized, they are given a value of 0. When I don't put the this dot side 1, this dot side 2, then these sides come in and it has no idea what to do. It says, okay, they're all living right here and that's it, so I'm through with that. And so they are still initialized to 0. Let's see if we can see that, because we can do and save myself a little bit of typing. I didn't want that. All right, so let's see what that does. It says side 1 is 0. So if I go back and I put this dot, and let's just leave it at that. Now the area is still 0, but side 1 is 2. Well, 2 times 0 is 0. So that's just simply saying, unless I have both of them with this dot, then I will have no luck at all. Okay, so now I get the area 6. So again, going back, the name of the class, which is what I'm going to be building, the instance variables, which are the variables that I will use in my methods, my constructor that sets values for the instance variables, and then my 3 methods that use the instance variables. And that should be the basis of almost any program rewrite. They will get more complicated, they'll have more parts, but in general you'll have a class name, instance variables, a constructor, and then a group of methods. All right, that is the overview of programs.